His question is it true that anyone who dies in Medina will enter paradise? That way hypocrites will never die there. Very interesting question. Okay, if you're talking about the first part, which is dying in Medina and guarantees paradise, yeah, there are some athar and ahadith in this regard. Abdullah ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him and his father, narrated that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, من استطاع أن يموت بالمدينة فليمت بها فإني أشفع لمن يموت بها. This hadith is collected by Tirmidhi wa Ahmad wa Ibn Majah wa Ibn Hibban and others. What does it mean first? And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, whoever can die in al-Madinah, the city of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam lived and died in, whoever can die in the city, let him do so, because I shall intercede for those who will die in al-Madinah. Okay. This blessed city is the second haram, because the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam invoked Allah to make it sanctuary, the same way that Prophet Ibrahim invoked Allah to make Mecca sanctuary, a haram. It's a sacred place. In order to die in it, that means you're going to live there until death comes to you, because of course no one knows as when he or she will die. So that's why that means you move and live there for good. And that's why Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu, who was a great mujahid as well, the second of the list of the 10 heaven-bound companions, may Allah be pleased with him and all the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to have a very unique dua. At this time, people used to think it's strange, because he used to say, "Oh Allah, I ask you to die as a shaheed, and I ask you to be buried in the city of your Prophet." He wants to be eligible for the intercession of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, despite the fact that he's been given the promise by Allah and his Prophet that he's already one of the dwellers of heaven. But he wants to make certain that he does not leave anything to chances. And that's why he said, I want to die as a shaheed and I want to be buried in al-Madinah. Dying as a shaheed would require him to go outside al-Madinah to do jihad, not to do jihad in Medina, because the whole peninsula by then has become a Muslim land, a Muslim state, so there is no jihad there. So how would you die in a Sham, for instance, or here and there, and meanwhile you will be buried in al-Madinah? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fulfilled his dream and answered his dua. He was stabbed while he was leading the prayer by Abu Lu'lu al-Majusi, may Allah's curse be upon him. And Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anh died as a shaheed, and he was buried not only in al-Madinah, rather next to his best two companions, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, may Allah be pleased with him. I want to give you the next hadith, which is collected by Imam Muslim and also narrated by Abdullah ibn Umar ibn Khattab, because I said in order to die in Medina, you must hang around, you must live there and move. He said, من صبر على لأوائها كنت له شفيعا أو شهيدا يوم القيامة, which means it isn't easy to live in Medina. It may be difficult. So whoever endures this kind of life patiently, I shall intercede for him on the day of judgment, or bear witness for him to be eligible for the intercession on the day of judgment. So that is the meaning of the hadith, to encourage people to live in Medina. Especially, you know that during the trial or the fitna of the false Messiah, Al-Masih al-Dajjal will never be able to set a foot in the city of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As a matter of fact, he will climb one of the mountains, him and his followers, and he wouldn't be able to enter the Medina. Angels will be like border controlling the city of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He will point to the masjid of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and say, "Hada qasru Ahmad." Yeah, that is the palace of Ahmad. But those who will be living in Medina will be protected from the trial of the false Messiah. What about the munafiqeen, the hypocrites? Subhanallah, they will go out to join him. They will go out to join him. المدينة تنفي خبثها. Al-Madinah expels the rebellious, the wicked, and the hypocrites. At the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there were many Jews, there were many munafiqeen who died in Al-Madinah. Well, the hadith applies only to the believers, not to the munafiqeen. Don't you think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the secrets and what the chests hide? So if somebody who is hiding disbelief and he's showing that he's a believer and he died, that's it. إن المنافقين في الدرك الأسفل من النار ولن تجد لهم نصيرا. They will be even in a lower level than the disbelievers, because they're even worse than the non-believers, because they showed iman while they were concealing kufr.